almost all of the hearings were in public, and not just in public. They were almost all of them under the glare of television lights. Because we were very fortunate in South Africa by the fact that the media took the TRC to heart. And so whenever we had either applications for amnesty or hearings for victims, for a very long time, these happened as live broadcasts. Live broadcasts by television, live broadcasts by radio. And the newspapers splashed the stories on their front pages, often with banner headlines. So he comes and he says, this is what we did in public. And many, many times, it would be the first time that even his family knew that this man who looked so respectable, so normal, was in fact a member of a death squad. So there was already also the punishment of public disgrace. And we know of quite a few instances of people such as these, whose wives were shocked to such an extent that many marriages ended in divorce. So there was a penalty. Not maybe the same kind of penalty that you get in retributive justice. Now, you say, well, is that all that can happen for victims that they can tell their story? Ah, my friends, you don't know until you have experienced it. The potency of being able to tell your story. A story that you had kept. Some of these people had kept the story for 30 years. I mean, I was shocked. I saw a mother. We met outside the hall, and she would laugh, and she seemed so normal. And then she came to tell her story. And you couldn't believe it, that she could have remained so normal for so long, carrying this incredible burden. And so we were very, very careful about how we arranged the furniture in a hearing. We said we were not sitting in judgment on them, so we would sit on a level with the victims. We made it a very solemn occasion when the victims and their families processed into the hearing. Then the crowd, and it was usually packed to the rafters, the crowd would stand, and Dr. Borain and I and other members of the panel would go to shake hands. There was a ritual, and then we would go and light a candle. You don't know just how powerful it is. A young man came, he had been the victim of a police action, and he was blind. He came to tell his story. He told his story. And at the end, one of our panel asked him, how do you feel now? Do you know? He smiled. he smiled and then said, "You have given me back my eyes." He was still blind. But he said, "You have given me back my eyes." Yes, his story was now part of our story. The nation acknowledged him or her. What happened to you is, so the nation says, a vital contribution that helped us to get where we are today. Just let your people tell their stories. Let them tell their stories to the whole nation. Let the nation hear the price that was paid for the freedom they now enjoy, the freedom that you now enjoy. And often, you will be amazed. You will really be amazed. Because when we ask the people, what would you think you want in reparation? You could have expected that people would say, "Look, I want a double-storied house, I want a swimming pool, and I want a Toyota Camry to stay." No. You were humbled by you frequently really want to weep. Because you ask the people, "What do you want?" And you hear them say, "No. Can you help me erect a tombstone for my child?" Can you help me educate my child? Hardly anybody was asking for things that you would have thought they had the right to ask. It was incredible. It's an incredible privilege to have been asked to preside over this process. It's an incredible privilege. And you sat there and you listened. And many times with Dr. Borain and others of our colleagues, we would sit there and having heard a story, we would be amazed. And I would say, "No, dear people,